Hey, I just wanted to kind of show you guys something. I've had a lot of problems with tuning this 3.3 for a while, and I was getting leaks, out of the back plate back here. It's got brand new black back plate, starter shaft, O-ring. I was getting some fuel down here behind the flywheel. I think the front bearing was leaking and stuff. Biggest thing I would say is start with your high speed right here. Put it at 4 turns to start, and on your low speed, see if I can turn this around. Your low speed needle, just kind of hard to see. It's right back in here. I put mine at 1 3/4 to 1.5 turns, and left it at that. Now, biggest problem I had is I kept getting high temps at idle, revving high, all kinds of crap, and I replaced the darn the tune pipe, fuel lines, you name it, thinking something was wrong, and all it's been was my tune. Anyways, start at 4 turns on that, 1.5 to 1 3/4 on your low. Set your idle gap, which is right in here for your idle gap. I'll show you if I can get this off. Your idle gap will be right down in there. All I use is a paper clip. It'll fit right in there. That'll give you 1 millimeter. Start at that. Now, after you make quite a few passes, I would say you need to go through about a half a tank to get it warmed up. And after it sits running, it's probably going to idle high. This is what I found. It's going to idle high at 1 millimeter. After you get it warmed up, get your high speed needle tuned down, and after you make these few passes, just turn this down probably like a 1/4 of a turn at a time. You'll notice the RPMs in the truck. It'll go faster to wind higher RPMs. Just don't go too far. Once you can tell that you get decent speed, you're getting temps like maybe 208, 210, somewhere in there, that's perfect. Leave it right there. Don't try to keep leaning it down and leaning it down. You're just going to cause yourself problems, and it's going to get hot. I'd highly recommend using a temp gun. It works great. After you get your high speed needle set, you can bring it, to a stop, to an idle, and do your pinch test. Pinch off your fuel line, which is this one, and see how long it runs. It should run about 3 to 4 seconds. I think mine runs actually about 5 seconds right now, and it's running great. So I don't think that's really super critical. Now, if it's going for 10 seconds running before it dies, well, then your low speed on this side is too rich. So leave it at like 1 3/4, 1.5 turns. Biggest problem I found is this idle screw right here at 1 millimeter is too far open. Back that thing down a little bit at a time and let it sit there and idle for a few minutes. Once you get it idle down to where it's not trying to idle down like a car, but to where it just sits there and idles. Then do your pinch test again. It'll change the time that it cuts off the fuel flow through here when you pinch it, because you've changed the idle gap. Now, instead of going for, say, 7-8 seconds, since you changed the gap in here, when you pinch it, you'll be back down to probably 3 or 4 seconds. And this really helped me a lot. I kept leaving that idle gap at 1 millimeter, and it would consistently idle really high. If I tried to mess with a low speed needle on this side, it was either too rich or too lean, and I just could not get it right, and it drove me nuts. Now that I have a good tune on it, I don't get any more fuel leaking back here. I don't get no more fuel spray out here. I was consistently running rich and lean, rich and lean, rich and lean. And that's definitely what the problem was, is that idle gap. Now, I bet you I'm only down to probably 0.5 millimeters maybe, or something like that. You just got to do it by ear. You don't want it to idle way down like a car sitting there idling. It's, you know, you just got to be holding a little bit of RPMs, but it shouldn't be sitting there racing either. And I think that idle gap will solve a lot of your problems. I'll take a video of me starting it up too, and you'll see that it'll probably die the first couple times until I get it warmed up. As soon as it's warmed up, it'll sit there and idle. You can't try to tune this thing when you've only made like 2-3 passes and think you're going to tune it. When the engine is only, you know, maybe 175 in the temp, it probably is not going to work. I've been there and tried it. Right when this thing is cold and I first start it, if I take off just a little bit and let off, it'll probably quit. But if I just keep it going around and around and do a few laps and get it warmed up, it'll sit right there, idle, no problem. So I'll take a video of it running, and then I'll post that on here too. Thanks.